According to Fortune.com, 25% of Americans still don't have a budget. So, if you are one of those people, stick around because I'm about to show you how to set up one without overcomplicating the process. Hey y'all, it's Michaela with Budget Like a Teacher, and I like to think that I have mastered this payday routine. It's very simple yet effective. Now I'm in control of my finances. I very rarely overspend. I know exactly where my money is going from day to day, and the stress is at an all-time low. Now I didn't say no stress, but it's definitely lower than it was I say about 2 years ago. So you already know it's payday. So we are about to handle the task of this payday routine. And hopefully this week I can stick to it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. So this is my budget template right here, and it is broken down into 3 different sections. I classify them as P.S.C. This whole first page is going to focus on pay. P stands for pay. I track every dollar coming in and every dollar going out, so I'm in control from day one. The money I pay out falls into 3 separate categories: bills, expenses, and debt. That's what I call my bed method. So, let's go ahead and start on that first part of pay, which is my income. I'm gonna write the date up here. Well, actually just a month up here, August, and this is check number 2, which means that this check is going to cover all of the bills that will occur from August 15th all the way to the end of the month. So I'm going to put 8/15 here and 8/15 here. For this particular pay period, I am using 2 different piles of money. The first one is rollover. Rollover is simply the money that I had left over from the previous pay period. So for me this time, that was $171.13. Next, it is my regular salary teacher pay. So I am going to put full-time here. And since it is salaried, it's always the same thing unless I've done something extra. $2,103.56. So in order for me to come up with the amount of money I am working with for this pay period, I just simply add those 2 figures together. So 171.13 plus $2,103.56. So we are going to be working with a total of $2,274.69. All right. Now we are going to move on to the second part of pay, the money that we are paying out. So I break that down into those 3 separate categories: bills, expenses, debt, also known as bed. All right, so bills for this pay period. 8/15. The very first thing that is going to come out this time is my subscription for TubeBuddy. This is a subscription that I use to help me improve my YouTube videos, and that is paid out monthly. Next, on that same day, it is going to be Legal Shield. And Legal Shield costs me $21.95 every month. Then on the 16th, we have one of my life insurance policies that is life number 2, actually. So I have 2 different life insurance policies outside of the one that I pay into from my job, and that is going to be $9.57. Next, it is Planet Fitness. And honey, when I say I need to take my tail to the gym, not only am I just wasting money at this point, but I am falling right back into not being into the best shape that I can possibly be in. And for me at this point in my life and under my circumstances, it is a health situation. It is not something that is cosmetic. Like, I really need to be in a gym. I need to be losing some weight, decreasing my BMI, all of the things. I really need to get that done. I need to find some motivation and some energy at this point in my life, but that membership is $25.05 per month for me. On the 17th, you have my other life insurance. This is my life insurance number 1. If you watched one of my videos before, you know that I am planning to cancel one of my life insurance policies. That will actually be life number 2. So I will be keeping life number 1 and the one that is offered in my job. So I will still pretty much have pretty good coverage for my family in the event that the Lord want to call me on home. Don't call too soon, Lord, now. All right, 818. This is for my Stan store. My Stan store costs me $29 every month, and that is actually where this template is housed. I made this template for myself maybe about a year ago. But now, if you would like to watch me do it, see if you like it, and then maybe budget along with me next time, it is available in my Stan store. And I will link it in the description if you are interested. After that, same day, home security. And that is going to cost me $52.14. 820 child care, and that is going to be $400. I do pay for child care twice a month, so the $400 is just for the next 2 weeks. Oh, I got a little tickle in my throat, y'all. 822 is water. The water bill for me only comes out every other month, so anytime it is an even month, I am paying the water bill. So for 2 months, I am paying $132.20. 823. For some reason, my life insurance number 2 does 2 different drafts. So this is the second part of that payment. It is $27.18. And my Peacock subscription. Oh, prescription is crazy. Subscription, where I go watch all of my true crime. Peacock, I can't spell today, is going to run me $7.99. All right, so to round out this bill section, all I simply have to do is go in and add all of these totals together. Oh, I got makeup all over my hands, y'all, from rubbing my eyes. Oh, excuse me. Oh. All right, so let's get to adding. We have $7.50 plus $21.95 plus $9.57 plus $25.05 plus $81.75 plus $29 plus $52.14 plus $400 plus $132.20 for water, $27.18 life insurance, and then $7.99 $4.99 for Peacock. All right, so my total is $794.32 in bills. So I'm going to move that figure up here. $794.32. Next, we're going to move on to our E, which is our expenses. I try to keep my expenses extremely light because I do not like having a bunch of stuff that I have to keep track of. So the only thing that I'm going to put in my expenses is groceries, gas, and work lunch. I tried to spend a total of around $500 per month on groceries for my family of 5. That has worked for us thus far. I don't see a reason to change it at this point in my life, so I'm not going to change it. What ain't broke, don't fix it. Is that how I go? Something. That, y'all know what I mean though. So $250 will go to groceries for the next 2 weeks. Gas, I'm going to allocate $160. I have not gone over on this gas budget since I got this car in March, April-ish. I can't remember exactly which month I got it, but I have not gone over on my $160. But what I will say is that my family does have to travel twice with my daughter for travel soccer. So either I might come close to going over or I may go over, but we will see how that goes. So I'm going to leave this $160 for now and see how I do with it. Work lunch, I used to give myself $20 for work lunch. I have been going over the $20 for work lunch. So this is what I have decided to do to mitigate this little overage situation. This school year, I do not have to buy school lunch for my children because my district has decided to provide free breakfast and lunch for all of the students in the district, regardless of their parents' income. So I am going to use the money that I used to allocate to the kids for school lunch, and I'm going to absorb it and use it for my work lunch with the hopes that I don't keep going over this work lunch budget. Now, what I will say is that I do have slight reservations about increasing this budget because one of the things that I realized when I first started looking and tracking my expenses is that I spent way too much money on food and eating out. I am going to be very aware of my spending in this area. I don't want to just keep, throwing money at it, adding money to it, and I end up in the same situation that I had before. So I'm gonna leave it at $50. And if I can't eat $50 in 2 weeks, listen, then that means I'm doing way too much. All right, so let's go ahead and see how much our expenses are going to cost us. $250 plus $160 plus the $50 for lunch. And that is $460 for expenses. I'm going to add that up here, $460 for expenses. And the very last thing in our pay category is to go over our debt. So I have not talked a whole lot about debt in my budget with me videos, but I will be getting to that very soon. So first, I do have a car note. As I just mentioned, I bought a car some months ago. My car that I was driving at the time, it was a Toyota Camry. I'm not going to say it was on its last leg because I really felt like my baby could have gotten me an additional 200 something K miles, but it was over 200 K miles. I think it might have been over 250 actually by the time I got rid of the car. And besides, now we are a family of 5 and we do travel out of town with our kids and we needed more space. So I have a Honda Pilot now and I have a car note on that Honda Pilot. My car note is $312. It is $312 for the month, but what I have decided to do is to use the split bill method to pay my car note, which means that even though my car note is already paid for the month of August, I am going to use some of this money that I have still in August to go ahead and start paying for my car note that is not due until September. So I go ahead and I pay half the car note now and half on the actual due date in September. So half car note. For me, it is 312, I think 21 for me, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to divide that by 2. All right, so that will be $156.10 that I would go ahead and pay. And then in September, all I would have to do is pay the other half to satisfy that car note. It, helps give a little bit of wiggle room so you're not stressing trying to pay it all at the same time. All right, I also have 2 credit cards. One of them doesn't really hold a balance and the other one does have a balance on it right now. So let's talk about the one that really doesn't have a balance, and that is my Discover card. So when I was trying to build up my credit about a year and a half ago, I opened this card in order to, 1, use it for points, and then 2, build my credit by showing that I could make on-time consistent payments. So that Discover card, the only thing that is on there is my Audible subscription for $9.99. I charge my Audible on there, and then I have this credit card automatically pay itself off in full every single month from a separate checking account. It's not going to come out of this main bills account. This comes out of a separate checking account. That checking account also has a $10 maintenance fee. So in order for me to cover that $10 maintenance fee and the Audible charge, I am going to put $20 here. And that'll be it. That card will be taken care of. And then I also have a Navy Federal card that is holding a balance right now. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it is in the 400s. I am going to work on knocking this credit card debt out pretty fast. But for now, the minimum payment, which actually is not due until September, but the minimum payment that I'm going to go ahead and pay now is the $20. And then when that check comes around in September, while I will have already satisfied the payment, I'm going to go ahead and start chipping away at the actual debt that is sitting on that card. So I'm going to do the $20 here as well. So now all I have to do is add up. I am so sorry that y'all have to see me looking busted and disgusted, but I'm sitting here editing this video only to find out that my phone is a hater and it cut off half of it. But it's okay, because I'm going to run y'all through this second part, but just know, listen, they said weapons formed against me shall not prosper. It might not prosper, but it definitely just formed. Do you hear me? Let's get back. Okay, so the last thing that I needed to do before my phone decided it wanted to do what it wanted to do, like it pays its own bill, was add up how much money I was going to be spending between all of the categories of bed. So when I added up my bills, my expenses, and my debt payments, that gave me a total of $1,450.25. All right, so once I got that figure right there, I had to subtract it from the actual income that I have. So once I did that, that was $824.44. So since my phone want to be a hater, the second part is already done. So I'm just going to tell you what I ended up doing. S stands for save. This is how you're going to protect yourself for the future and keep from falling back into old habits. This is where I stuff my cash envelopes and I plan for my short and long term goals. most of the time that money is going to go to my high yield savings. Okay, so I had to bring that $824 over here so I would know how much money I was working with. Now I'm going to move on to my cash envelopes. So my cash envelopes consist of school, so this is the school in which I work, children, I have 3 kids if you're new here, kids clothes, personal, small car maintenance, small house maintenance, soccer, medical, gifts and birthday, and a temporary category for books. So let's go through these real quick. So school is the school in which I work, and sometimes we have things that I would like to contribute to or be a part of. So I did put a line item in the budget in order to have money for that. I currently have $50. I feel like that's enough to do whatever I need to do for the beginning of this school year. So I'm not going to add any money there. So I'm going to put a 0. Children, this is for anything that the children might need or want, or just something related to the children. They currently don't have any money in their envelope or in their clothing envelope because it is back to school time. So a lot of money, hundreds of dollars, has been spent on these 3 children. So they don't have any money right now, but I am going to give them a little bit something to start building their envelope back up. And so they will get $30 just for whatever random miscellaneous, I want a slushie from the gas station type of thing, or I need some new headphones, something, anything relating to children. I need a pack of wipes. That's where that money will come from. Also, I'm going to go ahead and do $20 for clothes. This should be able to build up pretty good because they literally just got school uniforms, underclothes, shoes, all kinds of stuff. So they shouldn't need anything. Now, I do have a toddler, so when it starts to get cooler, I am going to have to spend some money on her a whole new wardrobe. Y'all already know how it goes when you have really small kids. Like, you can only keep the clothes for one season, then you got to, restock the entire closet. I am going to try to be intentional about building up this envelope. Next, I have personal. So I have 0 in my personal because if it's one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spend this money. And I'm not actually a big shopper. I'm not a frivolous spender, but something always is gonna come up for me. Or I'll go over on my eating budget and now I have to dip into my personal just so I can eat a crab leg or something. Anyway, $20 for me. And that is my baseline. I do not go under that. But if I also am not working with a whole lot of money, then I kind of can't go over it. Hopefully, I'll have a little more wiggle room in my budget. I can't even say in the next couple of months. It's so much stuff coming up. I don't know, in the next couple of years, I'll be able to give myself more than a little $20. I don't really know, y'all. Okay, so car is small car maintenance. This is your car wash. This is your windshield wipers. This is your oil change, things of that nature. So I do put some money aside to be able to do those things when I need to do them. Right now I have $31 saved. I usually get my car washed once a month. That runs me about $20, but I do have a coupon. One of my friends was doing a fundraiser, so I do have a coupon, so I will not need to spend that $20 this month. Once I got my first oil change for this particular vehicle that I just got, I was told that my oil changes would be $80, but it would last me for 6 months. So once I broke down the math, I figured out that I could save about $7 per paycheck and have enough money by the time it's time for me to have an oil change. So I just did half of that car wash and then the $7 for the oil change. So I'm going to add $17 to my $31 for this particular check. Next is house. That's kind of like the same concept as car. This is for small house stuff. So the main thing I want to do with this money right now is to do a little refresh of my laundry room. And for the most part, all of that is going to take is some wood to repair our shelves and a coat of paint. So I don't need like a massive amount of money for that. I already have $70 in the budget and I'm going to add $30 just to make it an even $100. Hopefully we can get that done soon so I can kind of like show y'all that process. Next is soccer. My oldest daughter and my middle child, my son, plays soccer, but this older child is at the age where they travel. So we will be traveling twice this month. That's why this envelope has more money than the other ones. So I already have $175 in the soccer envelope. I'm just going to make it an even $200, and I'm going to add $25. For people who may not have seen one of my budget with me videos before, I use this money to help with gas on the rides up and back, or food while we're there, snacks, anything soccer related that has not already been paid for. That is what I use this money for. So the hotel already covered by my husband, the tournament fee, something that I paid way back in July. So the big stuff is out of the way. This is the money that I use for the smaller things, like, you know, just anything that comes up while we're out of town for the soccer trip in particular. Medical is what I use for my co-pays primarily. I do have some prescriptions that don't run me a whole lot of money, but those can come out of this as well. So I already have $55 in there, and this time I'm only going to add 10. Reason being is I have 2 appointments that I should be having to come up. One of them is my primary care physician. I still need to reschedule my appointment for that. That copay would be $35. So clearly I have enough to go ahead and cover that. I also have to go back to the dentist in October. Currently I go every 3 or 4 months. That copay is only $28, and if I'm not mistaken, I have a credit on my account. So I'm not really super concerned about that, and it's so far out that I'll have $28 by then. So I'm only going to add $10 to this $55. Gifts and birthdays. We have 3 birthdays, actually 4 birthdays coming up. My daughter is going to turn 2. One of my friend's daughter is going to turn 2. We were actually pregnant at the same time. We were supposed to be 2 days apart, but she had her baby about a month early. But her baby is turning 2. One of my friend's grandson is turning 1. And one of my best friends has a birthday in September as well. Virgo babies. So I do need to set some money aside to be able to do whatever it is I am going to do with those birthdays. So I already had $130. And then I have an additional $30 that I'm going to go ahead and put in the pot for this. Temporary savings for books. I already have $100 set aside. So all I'm going to do is add an additional $150. That should be enough to pay for books for this semester. I hope. I pray it's enough. Make it enough. Who got that reference? If you got that reference, I'm your people, you my people, and y'all need to tell me what movie it came from down in the comments so I can laugh. Make it enough. Anyway, so that is going to be a total of $332 that I have spent just on cash envelopes. So I went on ahead and put that figure up here. So on Do the Math, I took the money that we transferred over from what we had left over, and I subtracted the cash envelopes and found that I had $492.44 left. That means that I can now move on to my longer term savings that sit in my high yield savings account. Tuition is another one of those short-term savings. I decided to go back and get a 3rd degree. It is my education specialist degree in teacher leadership. And I'm going to be paying out of pocket because I do not want to rack up my student loans any more than what I already have. And I'll talk about student loans on a whole nother video. It's a whole story. So tuition, once I factored everything out, I do have to pay about $2,500 per semester for tuition. If I give myself about 5 months to save up for the upcoming semester, then I will have 10 paychecks. So my $2,500 divided by 10 is how I came up with $250 per paycheck that I should be setting aside. Do I always have that $250? Absolutely not, especially if it's the beginning of the month. But that is my goal. That is my aim. So that's that. Last check, I was only able to put $50. So technically, if I had the money, I would have made up for the 200 that I was not able to put there, plus the 250 for this time. I ain't able. Your girl ain't able. So this just tells me that I need $2,450 still for tuition. Now, I am not going to panic about this. Yes, it is a bigger number, but I keep in mind the fact that August through December is already paid for. So now I have all of August to December to save up money for January to May. And if I'm diligent, if I'm disciplined, I can do it. Even if that means that I have to end up cutting out something like my work lunch to have a little extra $50, to put here, then I will do what I need to do to make sure that I am not digging a deeper debt hole. So anyway, $250. I went on ahead and took the $250 out here now instead of waiting until the end, because I really needed to see how much money I could split between my remaining categories that are sitting in my high yield savings account. Once I took out tuition, that leaves me with $242.44. Now I'm getting to the point with these savings that I need to be a tad bit more strategic about how much I'm saving. So car and house, these are big car, big house. So this is, I need a set of tires. This is the alternator went out. Something that is going to require the car to be worked on, I am saving for here. The difference between this column and this column up here, or this section is I put how much money I still need to get to my goal, because that helps me determine how much money I want to set aside. So for big car, I need $75 to get to my goal. Your girl can only do 30 today. But the good thing is, once I max these out, baby, I won't have to set any more money to the side. So I can kind of treat it like the snowball method. So once I go ahead and pay this money, then I can start chipping away at some of the other totals by adding what I would have put here into another one of my savings buckets. Or it probably is going to end up having to go to tuition for right now. Big house. So we need our floors done. We also need a new sliding glass back door. So I am putting money aside to be able to pitch in with my husband to do those things, get those things done. So my own personal goal is saying that I need still $1,019. But because this does not have a time deadline on it, I'm only going to do 20. And this is not something that I am contributing to by myself. This is more like another making enough situation. I say the money, I give it to that man. That man going to have to do what he got to do to make sure that the stuff gets paid. That's all I got. That's all I got. I ain't got no more. That's all I got. All right, so Christmas in Europe. These are hard deadline type of things, so that's why I put a little bit more money towards these two things. So Christmas, we already know it's coming in December. It comes every single December. It never wants to skip a December. Christmas is that holiday that's like the child in your class who never wants to be absent. It's gonna come every single time. Let me not sound like I'm mad at Christmas. I actually love the Christmas holidays. I love doing things with my children. Their little excited faces, doing s'mores, matching pajamas. Like, I love it. But baby, it stresses me out. And it really shouldn't. Because Jesus is the reason for the season. Anyway, according to the goal that I set for myself, I still need $695 by the time December rolls around. So I did go ahead and give myself $30. I mean, not $30, $50. I'm getting delusional now, y'all, to be able to put in this fund. Europe, my daughter and I are going to Europe in May. I actually just got the kids' passports application sent off. I need to renew mine. Ooh, I need to renew mine. I did not think, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and do that ASAP, which means I need some money from somewhere. I still need $385 to go towards my own personal savings goal. This is just for spending money there. This is some meals and spending money. The actual trip, so the flights in the hotel and all of that good stuff, the accommodations, my husband is paying for this. So I'm just saving up for the spending money. $50 because I really want to just go ahead and be done with paying for this as well. So this money can go somewhere else too. Okay, so without the tuition, that's $150 that is going to my high yield savings account. With the tuition, it is $400. So I just transferred that up here. My savings is $400. Then I came over here to do the math. Once I took out my tuition, this is what I had. Then I took out the savings, the high yield savings account savings, and then I was left with $92.44. So when I have money left over, I'm going to do one or two things. Either one, I'm going to make an extra debt payment, or two, I'm going to create a buffer in my checking account. So just in case something happens, best case scenario, I can do both. I decided that I'm going to put $14 extra onto my car note, because down here, my half car note, remember I paid that $156.10. I don't really like how crazy that number looks, so I'm gonna make it an even $170, and that's where I got that $14 from. So that left me with $78.44. Now, because I have this extra money and I'm trying to get this debt up off me, I'm trying to get this debt cleared out, I am going to go ahead and put $50 extra to that Navy Federal credit card, which is going to leave me with $28.44 in order to leave in my account as a buffer. Now, what's next? Last but certainly not least, the C stands for cash out. This is how I make sure that my plan actually happens and not just stay on the paper. This is a process that I use to outline how my money is going to move and where it's going to live until the next payday. Budgeting is the key, and I will say the second step, because the first step is definitely mindset, but the second step to financial stability. Now, the next step in this process is cash stuffing. That's where the magic happens. That's how I make sure that all my money is doing exactly what I said that my money was going to do. So, if you want to see that, stick around. As always, thanks for hanging out with me, and remember, keep it classy.